tall for me. I am Maddie. I work with the events team here at Bird in Hand and the Ivy. Super grateful to be here tonight. I was just talking with my boss, Emma, that, saying that I haven't worked a lot of these hot owl poetry events, and it's thrilling to see this many people packed into Bird, and to see what a beautiful community we've kind of, I guess, that we've all cultivated here. I'm really excited for our readers tonight. I'm going to hand this off in a sec to our host, but just wanted to say thank you guys for coming out, and have a lovely evening. And we're going to close our espresso bar because of the noise, but please feel free to have some coffee. We also have matcha and tea. We just talked about some matcha, and we have pastries as well. So have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Bird in Hand, for having us. We're back indoors. I think this is, what is it? Our 5th season? I think that's right. 5th time back indoors. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today for the reading. If the speaker's ever not loud enough, just raise your hand in the back, and the speaker can get closer to the mic, and I think that'll work. So we're super excited for 2 features today, Chris Childers and Tracy O'Day. There's gonna be a lot of clapping today. Mid-poem clapping. That's a great line. We're super excited to have them. Most of you here probably know them and know their work, but we're really thrilled to have them. Tracy's back in town. She hadn't lived in Baltimore for many years. It's nice to have her back. Chris moved away, and he's just back in town, and he's catching a flight immediately after he reads. So if he sneaks out, that's what he's doing. It's not that he doesn't want to hear the rest of this. He doesn't want to miss his flight. Oh, and so my name is Stefan Reichert. I'm one of the hosts. I edit the poetry magazine Smartish Pace. Another host is Clare Banks, also with Smartish Pace. And David Yezzi is also a host, as many of you know. He has play rehearsal today. So he said he's not gonna make it, but every time he says that, he runs in. So I think he's gonna make it. What we're gonna do is start with some open mics. And after that, we'll move on to our first feature today, which will be Chris Childers. So, without further ado, first on the list is Shirley Brewer.
Now, I just have to get around this backpack. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Oops, I'm just going to say a few words in the mic to make sure you can hear me in the back okay? It's good? Thank you. I'm just going to read one poem from, this is my new book. Well, it's a year old, but it's still new. Wild Girls. This poem seemed right for November. Jackie. One journalist called it plum. The wool suit Jackie wore in Dallas. Everyone else said pink. Plum, its sad ending, dies on our lips like a requiem, while pink bounces to the back of the throat. Color matters because that suit belongs to all of us. Now the ruined Chanel fabric hangs in a temperature-controlled vault, sealed for another 100 years. Eternal couture, worn by a woman who sat next to her man in the open car, waving until our future blew up, became a crimson stain on her skirt. Crimson on plum. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. Our next reader is Roseanne Singer.
This is a short poem called Exploding Calendar, which is something I never knew about except like in a movie when pages of a calendar fly off really quickly to show passage of time. So this is that. I turned 4 before I was done with 3. I picked at the scab when I wasn't done with the wound. Waves washed over the sand before I could write help. November came before I was done with October's gold. Everyone grew up before I was done being young. I became invisible before I was done with being seen. An early snow closed the trail before I could hike. The house was gone before I loved it enough. People left before I asked all my questions. The world flipped pages before I was done with my grief, which had no speed at all.
Thank you, Roseanne. Next, we have Lily Jarman Reichert.
I didn't know what to do with myself after the election, so I wrote a villanelle. How very different the road looks from here. Sealed in suddenly by a stark frontier, a road in mourning dead ends at midday. How very different the road looks from here. When whole civilizations disappear, dust and dry silence, cracked columns remain, spectral, surrounded by a stark frontier. I could bushwhack a trail that might be clear from a path of stars in the Milky Way, but clouds conceal constellations from here. When lost and empty, won't Virgil appear, hoarse from long silence to guide the way, out for one stranded on a stark frontier? From where I stand, I see a wildfire near this sun-flayed valley, its shoulders ablaze. I see how different the road looks from here. Are we doomed by demons that reappear? Our shadows may be consumed by flame. Until then, they darken this stark frontier. How very different the road looks from here.
Thank you, Lily. We'll go with 2 more open mic poets before we introduce Chris Childers. Next up, we have Shadur Arasha.
Hi everybody. This is more or less an elegy I wrote a couple months ago when I was shadowing ICU in Georgia, where I'm from. The poem is called Last Words. Allow assuring breaths, I'm still alive. People fade in small departures, winding down synaptic lights as dendrites shrink. Rite Aid and CVS are out of stock. No pharmacy in town is open. In M's room, I touch his intubated crown of tubes, the zodiac of teledistant landline loops, like comet tails around a chemic constellation, purees of limes and cantaloupes, and methylprednisolone for inflammation, albuterol for bronchodilation, furosemide, Advil, dobutamine, a diuretic, NSAID, vasopressor. Denied by UV, sisterless chromatids, the oncogene. The third polymerase, this codon's second guesser defies its nucleus, the DNA professor. Spaghetti bowls of tubes unravel like cords of earphones lazing inside violet knots. Low Fowler beds and violet ironing boards, noon naptime cots. A capillary droplet clots when cross-linked fibrins form fine cum-cum dots on kite-thin vessel walls. M's flattened affect, chill and eerily demure, seems vague. His face a cold compress, his tongue a ruddy dollar bill brocaded on his lips nude holiness, gray nostrils plugged with the darknesses of cotton balls. I feel saliva braided on his paper gown, dead linens wet with whiteout, mortally wound like rubber bands around a lobster claw, his proper noun half squeezed behind a chrome glass ground. Interior, rended tunics, satin, posterior, and ultrasound. Attending scribble names in Latin. I'm not here. N's chart is passed around, one sobered and affirmed with a hush, then spanked against my chest's quicksilver heart. Outside, I hear the suave rubato of a violinist thrush still fiddling with the telephone line. It doesn't drag or rush. Old exclamation marks of men in whites observe my trembling hand still trying to type as the feverish wind unspools Sankranti kites whose lines air out a Jungian archetype, pre-programmed character trait, a psychic stereotype of unconscious, collective, needle-pointed pain that, like a temporal migraine, bites without a sound. M's mom and dad and I, crestfallen, chain our pinkies, picturing remission, mind unbound from brightening body. Married to his wife, but not the other way around. Back then, she wore the boots of woe, trapping him without support. Miscarried of life, stillborn or still to be born, although she'd never say that she was going to abort whose kid it was, you'd think. I know that rigor mortis, on its way to putrefy him into stone, can only be an epitaphic skeleton. When death had exorcised the man of breath and bone, he was not, no more. Time of death, soul, animus, persona, ego, personality, all owned by death.
Thank you, Sidor. And our last open mic before our first feature is Mark.